Hello there, food lovers, and welcome back to Stuff, the podcast where we talk about cooking, our favourite ingredients, and some of ours and our listeners' favourite stories.
It's hosted by me, George Egg, the snack hacker, the snack hacker, and
hint, wink.
And Martin O'Dell, the Lagon chef. This is a faux. This is a faux. This is a show.
Come on, George, this is your moment.
This is a show all about making food accessible, fun, and above all delicious.
Absolutely. And each week we'll be chatting about some of ours and our listeners' favourite dishes. But it's more about your dishes, isn't it?
Well, it's about everything. I mean, we are going to touch. We are going to touch on the thing, you know. Listeners, last night, this is too much, but I dreamt I had just a massive. I mean, it was just so big.
Can you say it?
Penis?
What, straight up?
Penis. Horrible. Anyway, I woke up and it was all back to normal. Thank God. Went downstairs, fed the cats, had a shower.
I always
got the Thames link.
When we started this, ladies and gentlemen, when we started this podcast, George was so worried about mentioning naughty things, any kind of swear words. He wanted to keep it PC because you said we've got young listeners, we've got old listeners. You know, we don't want to upset anyone. And you've come rattling in with baguette cock.
But no, my point was that. So I think the thing it's like I think you can talk about you could say to a child, I dreamt I had an enormous penis last night, and they go, "God, it's horrible." And you go, "Yeah." But I don't think that's inappropriate. I mean, sorry, hold on a minute, but like the Harry Hill podcast that I did the other day, and we talked about. So one of the things on that is he said you got to. So that is like a family friendly podcast.
Yeah,
but he tests those boundaries. So one of the things was, what's the silliest thing you've ever done? And we talked about when I was a child and I lay down in the road. I was about 9 years old and I just had this kind of mad urge to go, I'm just going to try lying down the road. And I lay down in the road.
Yeah, busy one.
On the way home, modestly.
Motorway?
Yeah, the North Circular. No, it's Cranston Road near where I was brought up.
Yeah.
And cars kind of use it as a bit of a cut through. Anyway, I lay down for about 8 seconds, got up, thought, okay, I've done that. And just as I got up, this car slowed down on the other side of the road and my mum got out and she was getting a lift home and it was just that bad luck. And she thought I had to go and have like psychiatry and yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, we talked about that on Harry Hill's podcast, and it's kind of like, well, that's life, isn't it?
That is life.
Yeah.
I have a funny, stupid car story. I remember coming home from school once, and it must have been about 14, and I'd had a bag of sweets, and I'd rolled it up, and I saw this car coming past, and he was doing about 2 miles an hour. It was just like crawling up this hill, window down, and I just threw it, not expecting it to go straight through, and it went straight through the window, hit the bloke, and I was like, gone. I ran, and then I ran into this shop and the guy casually pulled up the car next to the shop, came out and was like, I think you forgot something. He'd like chased me down the road.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
I bet you were scared.
I was very scared, yeah. I was squealing.
Squealing. I was squealing. Anyway, let's talk about food because that's...
Yeah, but should we tell them this is all about you?
Well, I mean, it's not all about me, but,
yeah,
but
it is.
It does just happen to be, listeners, the day that... Oh my God, mine's got me a present. Oh, Lordy Lord. Thank you.
It's your day.
Oh, guys. Come on.
Crack it open.
It is... you don't really want to, do you now?
Yeah.
Do you?
Why not? There we go. It's your special
day. Shall we open it now or shall we wait till I've got the food out that we're doing? No, let's open it now.
I'm gonna drink the whole bottle.
Come
I've got
on,
another
then.
bottle in there as well. So,
are you an expert at opening these?
I am now.
We got no fingernails, either of us.
Go on, you talk.
We both bite our nails, listeners. It is. It's the day my book's published, folks.
Whoa!
My book called... I got it down here.
Get it out.
The Snack Hacker. There it is. And
Yes.
And it's published today. So we thought we'd theme the. Oh, it's a little bit grubby on there. We've themed the show kind of around snack hacking and my book and all that kind of malarkey. Oh my goodness! And Martin's bought the fizz.
I bought the fizz. Oh shit!
Whoa! Keep it clear of the book. So anyway, but
what did you eat? Let's talk.
We always start the episode by talking about what we've eaten. So last night I made a curry. There we go.
There's so much dust in there.
Is it a dusting? Maybe it will make it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a snack hack.
There we are. Dusty.
Dust and prosecco. Cheers.
Cheers.
I got a little burp now as well.
Oh, it is a bit warm. Whoa, that's a
Ah,
tough drink, isn't it?
that's nice. That's my breakfast, folks. That's the first.
It's quite nice, actually.
That's we record quite well. I have to get up quite early, come up from Brighton, and I did have a little bit of milk in there, so I've had some.
You've had your
calories.
cereal.
Yeah.
No, I was going to tell you about the.
Yes. Tell me about. So
So
you posted a thing. Go on. You tell us.
I've started a cookbook series. I'm gonna cooking dishes from people's cookbooks. And George, I need your book to cook a dish from it.
Before you get into that, just say because it's really interesting. You bought a
500.
a crazy job lot.
Yeah, I
didn't you?
bought a job lot of cookbooks, and I got 500 cookbooks. Loads that were rubbish, loads that were good, and then there was
quite a few doubles. I remember.
quite a lot of doubles, all the Joe Wicks ones, which went to the bonfire. But yeah, and I've started now. I should have done it ages ago, but I've started cooking a random recipe. So I just turn to a page. I don't overthink it, and just go, I'm going to cook that. So some of them
Such a great idea.
have been a bit weird, like a bit boring. And then the one that I did yesterday, which really spanned me out, and it was you've seen the picture, haven't you?
Yeah.
It was like trying to guess what it was, and no one could guess because it is so weird. It came out of this book, the Latin American cookbook, and the dish
Lovely dated graphics on that.
yeah,
book.
the dish is called laranjas gratinadas. It's a Brazilian dish. It's called baked oranges, right?
I did think there was something citrus going on in the photo.
But what goes in it is the disappointing, sad bit. Is it was you make a roux, so your flour and your butter, and then you use wine instead of stock, so it was just white wine.
Yeah.
And you mix that, and then you put
So
mushrooms.
it's not really cooked out, so it's got that slight
Yeah.
fondue boozy.
It gets
taste to
weirder.
it, Yeah.
Mushrooms go in, not cooked. It just says chopped mushrooms. They go in. Ketchup, and then it had but no
Sounds like someone having a breakdown.
yeah, then double cream,
Yeah.
and then you scoop all of the orange flesh out. You chop the orange up. You put the orange into the cream sauce. You stuff it back in the orange. You bake it with like an egg glaze on top and Parmesan cheese, and you serve it with pork.
And
Disgusting.
what it sounds.
That's why
So
I
it
did
wasn't
it.
one of those like where you go, actually, I can see.
Well, I was so intrigued.
Was there anything redeeming about it? Was there anything where you kind of go, like, see what they were thinking there, why that would work with,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the balance? Or
Well, what I'm doing is I'm doing the recipes. It'll be a reel, and then afterwards I'm doing a longer form video where I kind of like go, these are my thoughts on not how I could improve, because I think that's always out of order, but like what I would have done a little bit different. And I think if you would have cooked the mushrooms and got a bit more of that like umami-ness
Yeah.
out of them and like a bit of flavor out of them, then had that through the sauce, I think something may have happened.
because I could imagine them being very watery as well if they're not
yeah,
cooked out.
yeah, they were just
So
like
it'd be
woody,
waterlogged kind of
yeah.
sponges.
But then orange and pork is like quite a classic thing in sort of Latin American, sort of Mexican cooking, if you think pork adobo or anything like that. But
And
yeah,
probably kind of Southeast Asian as well, I would imagine, kind of sweet
yeah.
citrus with.
But it was the cream. It was the cream and the mushrooms and orange that just.
That really does sound like.
And-
Can you imagine it all curdling as well? Or
It
being
didn't
kind of-
curdle. It was
no.
just weird. But it said tomato sauce, and I was like, because it's quite an old book. I was like, is that ketchup or is that
Right.
tomato
Yes, that
sauce?
could
Is
be
in
some sort of yeah.
yeah. But I was
Wowee.
about a 2 out of 10 for me.
And is that the first have you got quite into the
Yeah, I've
the
done
series
12.
already?
I've
Oh,
done
really?
12, yeah.
Wowee.
Another brilliant one was from a Mexican book called Asada, and it was really interesting because, like I said, I'll do a video afterwards, which breaks it all down.
With the pink and
Yeah.
black kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah. And they did a Caesar salad, and instead of using anchovies, they put miso in. So what I did is I drew the list of ingredients, and it's such a one where you can go, right, so anchovies is salty umami, so you've taken that out and switched it with the miso. And then instead of using Parmesan cheese, they used cotija, like fresh cheese. So I used feta.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of like more salty
So you
cheese.
can
And
certainly see the
yeah,
sense behind
it was
all that kind of-
great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is yum. And it's so fun because then you start going, oh. And that's what I wanted this series to do to me, and it's done it to me.
And have you the books I was going to say, are they all old ones? But actually that one that you just mentioned is quite a recent
Yeah.
book, I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So that's quite a recent one. I think I got that like 2 years ago. But I wanted because, like your book is going to be so different to everyone else's. And it's like when you look at cookbooks, some cookbooks tell a story. Some are just shit. Some have like just basic recipes that you know are your go-tos, like your Jamie Oliver Naked Chefs. They're just like classic bangers that you would always go back to. So it's kind of like, a real mix. Real mix.
What at home are your most used cookbooks?
I don't really use them at home.
Are there
So
none that you
weird.
kind of that you got when you were sort of starting out getting into food or whatever that you still gravitate towards,
What?
even if you've learned the recipes that you
Yeah.
kind of are the recipes from them, anything
Well, it's
like that?
The Jamie Oliver one. The Naked Chef is just so grubby in my
Yeah.
house. It's just, and with the recipe I did for it when in the book, and I opened it up, it was almost like it creased to that page. It was so used.
Oh, and I've got some of
Yeah,
it
it was just like, oh, there we go. Do that one
yeah.
again.
Nigella's banana bread in her Domestic Goddess book. That's
Yeah.
one that you just blow it and it just opens
which
in-
I had
in the right
today,
way.
like a Ouija board. But
And
yeah,
it's all really stained and also scribbled on, which is the thing that I did in my book, because I wanted to encourage that kind of thing of, right, because I've got a few cookbooks where I've gone, well, actually I think this works better with lemon rather than lime, or
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of sugar in there or whatever else, and I've written that in, and so I wanted to encourage that. So there is a recipe in here for twiglet brownies.
Oh, yum.
And which is again, like you were saying with the miso thing, kind of thinking miso caramel and
Yeah.
going, well, actually that's sweet and savory. And also with that recipe, I'll just find it in here. It's the sort of nostalgia thing of when you're a child and you're like at school and you cram your mouth full of chocolate and crisps at the same
Yeah.
time. And it's a real kind of familiar, sensation, flavor.
This book, George, is so beautiful. He gave it to me when I was on the train. We'd come back we recorded a podcast, and you're like, I've got a copy of the book.
We did
I sat there in silence, actually reading it and flicking through it because it's so cool.
Oh, thank you.
But every page is different. That's the thing. It's no like,
it's
here's a
bonkers.
recipe. It's like, yeah.
So I did the twiglet brownies one. So it was really, really sort of prescribed measurements. And I say that, your oven might be like exact temperatures in like 19 minutes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, especially with brownies, because they're quite small, you go over and then it's just wrecked.
Yeah, it's just
You
a
want
cake.
that kind of fudgy,
Yeah.
And I've said in there, that your oven might be slightly different. So you might need to adjust it. So to help you, I've printed in the book, it's actually already scribbled out and changed to encourage that kind of behavior.
Right.
But yeah, it's
Just basically saying if the recipe doesn't work, then it's your fault.
yeah, or my fault.
Not your fault, their fault.
Yeah,
Putting it
all
all on
my
the radio. All your fault.
I mean, I tell you what I did. So I did. It was interesting doing it. We did. I tested the recipes a lot,
Yeah.
but then some of them, when we were doing the photo shoot, obviously I had to remake everything for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And then they were being tweaked then, and it's just fascinating how, and not because they didn't work, but kind of going, actually this works better like this. And I think that's a great thing, is to encourage that sort of development constantly, and not just go, this is
no
a
dish
set
is ever the
recipe.
same. I think that's
Yeah.
when some people cook it. It's, you're always going to add something, take something out, maybe go, oh, I haven't got this time, but yeah, yummy,
Yum.
yum. George's special day. It's like your birthday.
It is. I mean, listeners, we are recording this 3 weeks before it's published.
So
So
much liquid
there's
there.
every chance that between now and then I could do something awful and they'll all be pulped. So hopefully,
I've ordered 4 copies, so
that's so nice.
4 of them will still be in existence.
Excellent.
Can I get it signed, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
By me?
Yes, please. He's got to a strange man. Should we go on to question of the week? Because
Yes.
then we can talk more about this when it's the ingredient of the week, which
Yeah.
is going to be George's book.
Yeah.
He's going to eat the book.
Two recipes from the book.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put the question of the week out here right now, because in the second part of the show, if you do listen long enough, you'll hear the answer.
We both know this because we've
Do
talked
we?
about it.
I haven't
Yeah.
looked at it. Question of the week. In which English county would you find both the towns of Ham and Sandwich?
Because I was doing a gig there. Do you remember about, I don't know, a few months ago, I was doing a gig there, and I was messaging you, and you said, "Oh, you were there recently."
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when I
So we know
cycled around England with my mate, we cycled through Ham, and then you go straight into Sandwich, and you're like,
Yeah.
hang on. Is this real?
And then you know what's just beyond that on the coast? Deal.
Deal.
So it's like
Deal.
meal deal.
A meal deal. So where is it? Norfolk. We'll tell them at
I
the
think
end.
it's Queensland.
Queensland, South Africa. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, there we go. We'll come back to the answers to that. If you do know the answer, then just enjoy yourself for the rest of the episode and don't stress too much. But we are now going to get on to
Star ingredient, which in this instance is my cookbook, folks.
yeah, baby.
The Snack Hacker, available from today.
I've got you another present.
Oh my God, there's more presents. What's that?
A present.
Oh, that's the vermouth from the guy.
There we go. A present.
Oh, nice
Congratulations on your book. Yeah!
We should have shaken that one up and sprayed it everywhere, shouldn't we?
It's never too late.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Gosh, this is look at this. This is ridiculous. It's so nice.
Because
What a
you were
good
like,
guy.
I'm not going to do a launch party.
Well, I'm not doing it. Well, I mean, that's
This is
that's
your launch
that's the
party.
whole subject. Is the whole kind of do you do launch party? What's a launch party for?
Yeah.
Is it just for ego?
Yep.
Is it for actually, getting people at networking, which I'm rubbish at?
Yeah, just give it to your mates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Anyway,
It's all about you now. Talk to me.
So, well, what I thought I'd do. Well, basically, I'll tell you how the book came about.
Please.
I know you already know, but
No,
the
that's
listeners
right.
might not.
I'll sit and drink my liquids.
You've got so many liquids.
So, George, tell me about where did the book come from? Where did the idea come from?
Well, the book came from my Instagram account, basically, which I started in lockdown, making snack hacks. So initially, it was all just taking, Greg's and putting other things in them, and McDonald's and putting other things in them, and trying to make them a bit more interesting, a bit more sort of going in the direction of another food type. So, like getting a chicken sandwich and making it more into coronation chicken by putting in almonds and curry powder with the mayo and asking for extra mayo and all that. And then as the videos developed, there was more sort of nostalgic stuff in there. There was more also just kind of home recipes as well. And then me and my son, who films the videos and does all the graphics for the book, we decided that we thought it'd be good to do a cookbook. Pitched it to various publishers. All the big ones said no, wasn't up their street. Quite a small one,
Yeah.
Blink, who do a lot of comedians' books rather than cookbooks.
Yeah.
So they did like Josh Widdicombe's book and Lou Sanders and people like that. And they said yeah, and they were great. I mean, they were so accommodating. So in the first instance, the book was just going to be a whole load of snack hacks and recipes for other things I'd invented, and things from the internet, from Instagram rather. And then they, as I was starting to write it, I realised how much of what I was cooking came from the stuff that my dad cooked when we were kids, because he did all the cooking, and also the food that I was kind of denied when I was a child. So, they weren't into processed cheese. So now I'm obsessed with processed. You know what I mean? That kind of thing of how you sort of, you rebel. And it all happened. The whole series happened I started making the videos just before my dad died. And then while I was doing all the videos, I was clearing out the family house. And as I was writing the book, I realized how many things that I found in the house influenced the videos I was making. And so the book's got this kind of story arc going through it, almost, of talking about growing up, talking about kind of, social anxiety about having quite a posh dad and a very working class mum. And also I've got this whole bit about, we had a dinner bell when we were kids, and I hated it because my parents would ring it. We'd be at the top of the house, they'd ring the bell, and that would mean dinner.
Yeah.
Which was fine until friends came round, and then you'd be going, "Don't use the bell." And they were like, "Well, why not?" My dad would be, "Oh, it's absolutely fine," And then they'd ring the bell, and the friends would be going, "Oh, what's that?" And it's like, "Oh, that means dinner." "Oh, we've got a bell," And just so writing about all that kind of thing,
Yeah.
and Anyway, and then but what was just really nice is because it developed into something that's more kind of touches. I mean, there's 90 odd recipes in there. It is a cookbook more than anything else, but each section is kind of punctuated by a bit of writing about starting with the food my dad cooked when I was small, going to being a teenager, going to starting to be a performer, and traveling like all around Europe. And then there's loads of recipes. So this bit here, our chaos. So when I started out, I worked at a circus, and I cooked crepes. That's me.
There he is.
A young George.
Well, we spoke about this, didn't we, on the pancake
Of course,
days.
yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, I learned to do this with the circus." There you are.
So anyway, what I've done...
Go on, tell me.
I've done a couple of recipes from the book.
Great, that's a good idea.
So I've done a savoury one, I've done a sweet one. I've done this one, which is what we did
Oh, the French market chicken.
at your... So I haven't done the chicken, I've just done the potatoes. So
Right.
it was like, I think, the third video that I did. And it's a real sort of nostalgia one. So when we were kids and we'd go to France, It's the only place we went on holiday outside of the UK. So my mum didn't like flying at all. She didn't like traveling at all.
Yeah.
And so we'd go on the ferry and we'd go to France and we'd go to the market. And it's those potatoes that you get in the trough at the bottom of the rotisserie, the chicken rotisserie. And it's how to recreate those with tinned potatoes. Has to be tinned potatoes because I've seen them
Exploding
do
potatoes.
it. Exploding tinned potatoes, which I've seen them pop on you.
Yeah, they exploded on me.
They didn't explode last night. I cooked some last night, so I thought I've cooked those. They need microwaving again because they're stone cold otherwise.
Well, I'll talk
So,
about the French
you talk
market
about
chicken
those
because
while I microwave
when me and George first started filming some stuff together, we were like, "What should we do?" And then he said, "Let's do this French market chicken," and it was absolutely brilliant because you set the grill on high, you spatchcock a chicken, and then you put like, what did you use? You use like a saffron, like a risotto, a paella powder or something.
Paella powder, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can, so in the book, I say you can. Come over here.
Go on.
In the book, I say you can use a bit of turmeric as well because it's just to get the colour.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the French ones, the type of potatoes they have, which you can't seem to get over here, are that incredibly bright yellow. So it's really just to get the aesthetic.
Yeah. So you spatchcock a chicken, and then you put that on the oven, and then underneath you have the potatoes, and then you kind of just like grill the chicken, so all the chicken juice drips down into the tray below, and then it cooks the potatoes all in one. And it takes what, half an hour, 40 minutes, and it's just like
Yeah, if that.
yeah,
Yeah, half
and
an
it's
hour, I guess.
absolutely here it is. Look,
But it just tastes. And what I say in the book is so much of cooking, I think, is as much as it's about the food, it's about the experience and recreating that kind of experience. So I say, if you get those potatoes from a market in France, they're always served in like a plastic trough kind of thing,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that eating them outside out of a plastic trough feels more that you put them on a plate. It's not the same thing. So I say, go rummaging in your recycling, find like one of those troughs that you get, not troughs, like, pots that you get
Mushroom
mushrooms
carton.
in or whatever, and pile them into that. And then it's just, you're recreating that experience. And particularly if you have them with like a bottle of rough red wine and some mayonnaise.
all
and-
about rough
yeah,
red wine. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing is about experimenting. It's about breaking rules. It's about going, well, I'm just going to do it my way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so just trying stuff out. So what I've got, so it's a kind of combination of two recipes. So there's another recipe in there for a chip sandwich and recreating a chip butty by, if you've got any leftover mashed potato, you microwave mashed potato, you microwave crisps, and then you pile the crisps in. It's right near the back,
your
actually.
book. Sorry, mate.
It's
I was looking for chip.
it is there.
There we go.
So microwave crisps and mashed potato, put them in a white bread sandwich, and it's you're getting the crunch, you're getting the fluffy,
Yeah.
and it just tastes like a chip sandwich. It's beautiful. So it's a kind of combo of those. So I've microwaved the potatoes and I bought some crisps as well.
Great.
And I thought we'll microwave them together. And
There's
then
your
eat
look.
them
This
together.
is the one you did. Poutine and haggis. You brought this on the
Poutine and haggis. Yes, I bought that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Although that was
stuffing.
that I did that with dressing. Yeah, the crispy stuffing. But this is poutine with haggis, gravy, and baby bell.
I feel like I'm in the studio with the snack hacker senor himself.
You are in the studio with the snack hacker himself.
Senor snack hacker.
I bought a bit of aioli, which isn't. Is it aioli? Is it alioli? This says alioli. Does it depend on the country?
I think it depends on how you pronounce it.
But I think there's different spellings.
Yeah,
Like
well,
some is AI, but this is ALI. So I guess.
there's alioli.
Yeah.
I think alioli is just oil and garlic, and then aioli is the mayonnaise. But we'll probably get cancelled. That book's going to get pulped.
Well, we could just have some bags of pulp.
Bags of pulp.
Right. Hot crisps.
Yeah, look,
So let's
see,
see what
made
this is
with
like.
garlic and extra virgin olive oil. So this should just be garlic and olive oil. Oh, this has got egg yolk in it as well. Oh,
There's one we've talked about this before, but there's one that's got like breadcrumbs in.
this
Gives
one's
it a
got hair
slight.
and everything in it.
Is there a hair in there?
Yeah, look,
Sorry.
I ate it.
So look, there we go. There's the potatoes, which should be in this actually, but anyway, I'll put them on there. So I reckon, and then a bit of mustard as well. So then it's all like being in France.
I love being in France. Can we put some French music on?
Do you know what? I bet you in the edit there'll be some French music playing right now. I'm going to put it with a crisp like that and do a bit of that. Have a taste.
I love French mustard. Frosted.
That's nice.
Yeah. I've never had microwave crisps before.
Hot crisp.
I've never had. Why isn't my mouth working? I like warm crisps.
Yeah. Oh no, hot crisps is great.
What is your if you've brought this in, but what is your favourite recipe out of the whole book? Or actually, let me rephrase that because I hate favourite. If you wanted someone to cook a recipe out of that, which one would you say go?
I'd say fish finger spaghetti, which we talked about on the
Yeah.
pod before. It's beautiful.
I want to do the twiglets.
Twiglet brownies is great. Yeah. I'm just more gravitate towards savoury things.
Yeah, but I
Personally, but-
don't like sweet things, but I just can taste twiglets and.
I mean, I would say another one is the other dish that I've made,
Oh,
which shall we eat some more of this before we get the other one?
go on, George. So then,
So
the
what?
let me cue the question. the design.
What? I'm trying to read here. What?
Yeah. Well, I met your son for the first time the other day at the Fortnum's Awards, and he's he does that face a lot.
Which one? Like that?
Yeah,
Does he?
Yeah. But he did all of the design work for the book.
Yeah.
Or
So
graphic-
he's an illustrator,
Mm.
and yeah, graphic designer, and he does like posters and all sorts of other art. So that behind us there is that was going to be the cover of the book. It was one of the ideas for the cover of the book. We ended up going with this one, but we might sell posters. We're not sure yet.
No, you will sell posters.
Well, I tell you what I'm thinking, because what I do want to do is I want to do a live show called The Snack Hacker, because I haven't written a new live show for some years. I've just been touring the same show for the last sort of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's getting a
And I
bit
feel
dull
like
now.
it's getting
Yeah.
it's run its course. I've performed it everywhere, so I want to do a show. So that's a poster ready for it.
Let's
Isn't
do
it?
it. Can I come? I'll do pot wash.
You can come. You can just come and
Watch.
no, you come and join in.
Oh, great.
Special guest.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, so talking of the design, so he did things like, so there's lots of packaging in the book, but it's pretty much all imagined. So things like that's not real. He designed those eggs. And that brown bread ice cream. So that's one of the only decent recipes that my mum made. She really wasn't a very good cook.
No.
Lovely lady, but my dad did all the cooking. But one of the good things she did was brown bread ice cream, which was a real kind of stall 80s dinner party classic.
Yeah.
So I've done that. But yeah, Jem designed to look like a sort of 80s Sainsbury's packaging.
Because I think the thing with this book, like, and I know we're trying to get you loads of sales, so go and buy it. It's all not about the pre-orders anymore. It's just about buying it.
Yeah, because it's out
It's
today.
out. It's out today. When will I get mine?
Today.
Oh,
You
great!
got it?
I've got it. I can't wait to get
Do you know what?
home.
I think it probably came a couple of days early, because they usually do, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got it. I have to check downstairs. No, but the thing that I know we're blowing your trumpet, but the thing with this book, which is so unique and different to every other book, is just the care and attention to the design stuff. Like, I don't think lots of people will pick up on all the subtle bits, like the tube map, the
Yeah.
New York train thing at the back. But it's like all of the colours that you pulled and all of that, and the what was the colour one you told me about in a photograph where you didn't realise that there was a squeezy bottle and something else happening, and it was all colours.
So the subway map, the 1973 New York subway map,
Yeah.
which is the year I was born. Oh
Shock
my
horror.
god!
Oh my
imagine
god!
that.
21 still.
Imagine that. It's a beautiful tube map, and I don't know why subway map. I don't know why they changed it, but it's got lovely colours, and so he used those lines going through the bit about New York. But yeah, picked out colours that were reflected in this chopped cheese toasty with everything crust. Oh, God,
Oh,
chopped
yum.
cheese toasty with
When you
everything
bring
crust
that
is
in,
good. Would have been all cold and chewy and horrible. But yeah, so he used lines, or on this one, the big apple and sausage muffin. There's literally the same colours in the photo,
Yeah.
but yeah, just all that sort of things considered. And also the contents page, that's based on the rear of that map, so it's kind of similar looking design
yeah.
to that. 'Cause I've got.
Can you remember the pages with all the sachets laid out?
I can find it. Yeah, where is it? Sachets.
Come on, mate.
So we like a sachet.
Well, you love a sachet.
I think you love a sachet
Oh.
now too, don't you?
Oh,
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's it.
oh, come on! It's art.
There you go.
It's
There
mate.
it
These
is.
should all be postcards.
It is.
Yeah, just sell your book as
I've
like.
got postcards of that
Yeah.
done.
Oh,
So yes,
but where can people go and get it if they do want to go and get it? It's all like the
So,
Amazonian.
it's all the bookshops,
yeah.
the evil ones.
Which is that?
Amazon, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's kind of evil.
Convenient
Very good.
but evil.
Evil, yeah. You can
Um,
get like a, I don't know, like a paddling pool while you're buying the book or something. That's
well,
normally what happens to me. I go on there and go, I'm just going to get some batteries. And all of a sudden, I've got like a bugger splat and some like a electric fly whacker and
I mean,
goodness knows what else.
it all
But
works.
good old Amazon. You want more champagne, don't you?
Yeah, might as well.
It's your special day.
Yes, so Amazon. I mean, everywhere. It's
Yeah.
all the bookshops you can get it from. So yeah.
Great.
Shall I do the other bit of food?
Yes, please.
So the other recipe I've done. I guess we can just have these cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they won't be so nice. Microwave. So this is
We should
recipe
we should take pictures of something before
yeah.
we eat everything.
okay. So this is a recipe for I thought of this. So I love tahini, and I've made almond croissants before, and I thought, what about making basically the same recipe, but with tahini instead of ground almonds?
Did you make the croissants from scratch? Like
No. So
right.
stale croissants.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's not very snack hackery of you.
Oh yeah, no. So stale. So in fact, the first one I did, I'd got some little mini croissants from Asda that were reduced to like 5p each. They're ridiculous. And then made this. So you make normally you'd make like an almond cream, like a sort of frangipan kind of thing. But instead of using ground almonds, you use tahini. So you don't put as much oil, as much butter in the mix. Otherwise it's too runny. And then normally with almond croissants, you'd make just the sugar syrup with maybe a bit of rum in it, which you'd soak into the cut sides of the croissants. But instead of that, I used date syrup because date syrup and tahini is such a beautiful combination. So thin down some date syrup. Then you make the tahini cream, which is eggs, butter, tahini, sugar, and then a little bit of flour. Otherwise, it's too runny.
Yeah.
You put that in the middle. You put the lid on. You put more on top. Bake it in the oven. Dust it with icing sugar. Oh, sprinkle it with sesame seeds as well. So it's got slightly kind of sort of North African, Middle Eastern flavors going on as well with the French, and it's all Anyway, see what you think. They're nice.
I'm excited.
So there we go. So there's a
wow.
And but here's the thing: you can't have these because they got nuts in as well. Because
don't kill the cameraman.
I ran out of tahini, so it's actually about half tahini, half peanut butter. But that works too. Have a try. Oh yeah, I've got loads of them here, so we can. We could do a photo with all of them. I'll go for.
I feel like I want some jam with it.
Maybe we should hack it with some jam.
Stick some jam in it.
I think with that, there's a bitterness from tahini that you don't get from almonds.
Yeah.
That's really.
I always feel like almonds, you kind of get that.
Bit.
It's almost like that uncooked kind of taste, but with tahini, it's sort of toasted already, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I always go when I think of like peanut butter and jam. I think we talked about it once. There was a place called Spontino's, was it? It's now gone. It was in Soho, and they did a peanut butter and berry or peanut butter and jam ice cream. So it was like peanut butter ice cream cut into triangles and then stacked up with like just a compote on top and then a peanut brittle. Oh, it was so good. I always remember I went there on a date once, and the girl that I was with thought the man fancied me. She thought that I was gay on the first date because I went in there. I said, "Mate, I absolutely love the ice cream." And he's like, "Anything for you." And she was like, "Do you know him?" I said, "Well, I do now." And she was just like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, no, I'm not, just like the ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah, just nice. We did kiss a lot though, me and him. I was like, "Come here." Well, George, that was amazing. Thank you. What fun. Have you got enough champagne? Do you want some more M&S? Bellante, Prosecco?
Might as well have a little bit
more. Might as well. Right.
As my book's published today.
Oh man, what a day! Imagine if you, yeah.
That's not proper. That's what people do, isn't it? Hold the bottle like that.
Do they?
I've seen Ollie Smith do that on Saturday Kitchen, and he holds it by the base.
I don't know. Is that bad? Maybe if I was
I think it's the done thing.
If I was in a park, I'd probably do it like that.
It's the done thing. I just always worry that I'd go, well, it's gone everywhere, you know.
Quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, careful. No, I've got some.
Right, shall we move on to Britain's Fabbers?
So every episode, folks, we discuss a kind of a classic of cuisine, like pizza or whatever, and we talk about it. Maybe we have suggestions with things to do with it, or how we'd improve it, or what we'd use it for. And today's is
Pork scratchings.
Pork scratchings.
I love pork scratchings.
I love pork scratchings. And where have you and I used pork scratchings, Martin?
On our bellies.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that. No. Do you not remember? It's
No.
in the book. Oh my God, we come back to the book.
What, mackerel?
Yeah. So
Did
do
we?
you remember? Yes. So we did me and Martin improvised a recipe
The
called
Big Mac.
the Big Mackerel, which we did at
Big Festival.
Big Festival.
All the
big.
bigs.
Everything's big.
Your big
Like,
baguette cock.
yeah, this morning, waking up all in a cold sweat, going, "How am I going to deal with this? I have to buy new trousers."
I've got a really funny story about it, but I won't talk about it now. We'll talk about it later.
About penises.
Yeah,
It's going to be, isn't it?
that's got to be.
It's inevitable. But anyway, yes. And so what we did is we had a lovely little chat with Alexis Conran
Yeah.
on
Times Radio.
and we made a sort of Big Mac using mackerel. We made a sauce with sachets, which
Yeah.
was ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, and lumpfish roe. The cheap caviar, which looked really pretty with the little beads going through. And then we put crushed pork scratchings on as well. Do you
Did
remember?
we?
Yeah.
I
that
don't
gave
remember
it-
the pork
Yes, and
scratchings.
if you watch the footage, you've still got of him, and he's going, "Oh, it's lovely." He's so enthusiastic.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just brilliant.
But it
person
was
to
so
cook for.
delicious.
It was, and he was going, "The pork scratchings really work," because they just gave it, a little bit of crunch, and then
Yeah.
the pork with the mackerel. Yeah. Anyway, it was
Oh.
just a little improvised thing, but
That
it
was
delish.
peak air fryer. That was because we had to cook it all on an air fryer. I think that was part
Yes,
of
I
it.
think that was kind of part of the deal. Was that
Yeah.
you were promoting the air fryer for the
selling air
for
fryers.
the people.
Such a sellout. I've never made pork scratchings though.
I haven't, but I've heard them being made. So I'd recommend if people want to search it out on BBC Sounds, I suppose. There's the food program, and they've got the archives of them that just go back for years and years and years. And there's an episode with a guy called Charles Campion, who used to be a food critic, who he died as well. Everyone died. Very big.
Let's hope you don't
So
die
he's
before your book
online.
comes out.
I might, yeah. This might be. We'll be going. Oh, this is a really sad episode. This is just before he pulped himself to death along with the books. Anyway, and he investigates pork scratchings, and the thing that's fascinating is they are cooked. They're deep fried for something like, I can't remember, but it's like an hour or 2 hours or something absurd. Like you would imagine that they're just like in crispy, out they come,
Yeah.
like prawn crackers or something. But they're not. They're cooked for ages and ages and ages.
Oh, no wonder they're so
Mm.
tasty. In pork fat or in just deep fried.
I'll have to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't know.
But yeah, I have such like nostalgic memories of it when I first played rugby.
Yeah.
And it was like ordering, like Scampi fries, having one of those little packets, whatever the brand is. You know what the brand?
Smith's, I think.
Smith's, yeah.
Or it was Smith. Maybe Smith's didn't exist
Yeah,
anymore,
so it
but
was
yeah.
always like Scampi fries or it was pork scratchings. And I remember having like a couple that had loads of fat and you kind of like bite into them, it all goes.
Oh, it's all soft. And
yeah.
you can kind of,
And then you get another one that was just like solid. You're
yeah.
like,
Yeah. And I love what I love about pork scratching. I love the portion size
Yeah.
because they're so tiny.
Yeah.
And they have to be because they're one of those things that, I mean, occasionally you can get a big bag. And if you do, well, if I do, I inevitably get through far too many. And then it's like, I don't think I ever want to eat these again.
No,
you
no.
need a few months to recover because there's so much salt and so much fat and there's something with pork scratchings. There's a bitterness there that I think becomes an acquired taste. So I remember when my dad used to get them, we'd go over in a pub and I didn't like them because there was a bitterness and there's sort of like burnt taste, which is like, oh, I don't like that. I'd rather have a normal bag of crisps, which I've acquired. And now I love that, but you've got to have tiny portion.
So what is it? It is just pork skin. Pork skin with
I
fat.
assume it's just, pork skin fried, seasoned heavily.
Heavily. Because I've seen them in pubs where they've done like the bougie version and I've never really gone for them because I think they just have to be tiny little nuggets.
Yes, however, I would say in one of Gil Mellor's cookbooks,
Oh, your name dropping central today.
Well, I've got a lot of cookbooks.
You've got a lot of things in your head.
He does ones with fennel seeds and
Ooh.
obviously fennel and pork, marriage made in heaven. I mean,
Yeah.
this should be called the fennel seed cookbook. There's so many recipes that got fennel seeds in that book, so just love that kind of aniseed flavor. But yeah, that pork scratchings done with. I mean, I suppose I have done, but I mean, I've made crack. I mean, what's the difference, I suppose, between pork scratchings and crackling?
Yeah, we should
I
have
mean, I know
Googled it.
pork's well, as far as I'm aware, pork scratchings are deep fried.
Yeah.
The ones that you get in bags in the pub.
Well, that's it. Because I think
And crackling is
if you
just
was
roasted.
to roast crackling, because I've seen people do, when they do like a good pork belly and they take the skin off and they braise it or
Yeah.
do whatever they need to do and then cool it and then they do the crackling separately.
Yeah.
But then the fat is always quite just fatty, isn't it? Instead of it being like almost like poofs of
Yes, it's
whatever.
like it's like edible styrofoam, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like the kind of foam that you cut with a bandsaw or something. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? That's the foam. Or I tell you what it's a bit like. An oasis that you do flower arranging in. So it's like a kind of block of green.
That just makes me shiver.
But do you know what I mean? That's that same sort of dissolvable but solid.
Yeah.
It's like that, isn't it?
What's the one that they use in Asian cooking? Pork floss.
What's that? I never heard of that.
Never heard of pork floss before. It's like thin, almost like candy floss,
Yeah.
but pork. So it's like pork scratchings, but soft and it
So it sort
melts.
of dissolves
Yeah.
like candy floss. Wow.
Pork floss. Never had pork floss before.
No, never even heard of it.
Wow. I'm sure it's called pork floss. Is it called pork floss? Pork floss. Yeah.
God,
You
I'd
would
love
love
to try
it.
that.
Yeah. It's like pork scratchings, but just dissolvable.
Anyway, pork scratchings are great. I tell you what's great is I'm going to name drop another cookbook.
Go on, mate.
But Tim Anderson's microwave cookbook that
Yeah.
came out about a year ago, and that's brilliant. And he's such an inspiring experimental chef, and he just basically did a whole cookbook that was just, I'm not using anything else. It's just microwave,
Yeah.
nothing, no toaster or anything at all. And he does chicken crackling, so basically like chicken scratchings, and it's just basically chicken skin. You put it in a bowl, put cling film over it, and I mean you just basically microwave the hell out of it, and then
Yeah.
really heavily season it. But it sort of it deep fries in its own fat in the microwave, and it's just heavenly.
I always remember messaging him about the book, and he said, "What other piece of equipment can you do everything in?" He was like, "Get rid of your toaster." I was like, "Oh yeah." Like, what do you do with a toaster? You do one thing with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
was like, "Get a microwave." 'Cause
Yeah.
my one was, oh,
Although
get
microwave
picked on.
toast is never. There's a
No.
bit in Alan Partridge where Michael in the BP garage, he goes, "Oh, I never realised you could make toast in a microwave." And he's just got, and he goes, "Michael, that's not toast. That's just hot bread." It's just all floppy and steaming.
Oh, floppy woppy. Well, there we
Floppy.
go. Scratchings.
What does it say here? Look, do you like pork scratchings? Yes,
Yes.
that's established. What makes a good one? Crunchy, thick, salty.
soft, yes.
I guess a bit of everything.
And it's
Have you
got-
tried to make them yourself? No.
No. Done.
Answered.
Right, let's
okay.
move on. Listeners' questions and stories. I love this bit.
Listeners, so every week, and we would urge you to do this, listeners and viewers, to send in your stories, your
Oh.
questions, and your whines.
Well, I'm going to fire these at you because
Okay.
we asked you guys and girls on social media to send in your snack hacking related questions. Both George and Martin to give their snack suggestions. Well, I'm just going to take a back seat and drink champagne and you can answer these. Right, so Killian asks, best anchovy snack hack, please.
I mean, I guess it depends. Are we talking the little pickly ones or are we talking the tinned ones?
Oh, yeah, what they call boccarinos, those little...
What's the kind of fat?
Yeah,
white,
they're a bit
like,
sweeter.
yeah, they're almost like little roll mops that are unrolled
Oh.
or something, aren't they? I mean, I love them both. I think if I were to choose between the two, I'd go for the brown tinned ones. They're just like
Bit
like
grainy and a bit-
bacon almost, aren't they? You know what I mean? I haven't got any snack hacks for them. I tell you what, let's
How would you
imagine.
use them? How would you use them?
Well,
How would you use them? Let me say it one
if
more
I were
time.
going to use them in normal life, I'd very often put them on a pizza.
Mhm.
So I tell you what, I bet this would work. I bet if you got a Greg's cheese and onion pasty, I bet if you put a bit of tomato ketchup in there and some tinned anchovies
Yeah.
while it was really hot and just did a bit of massaging and bit that, it just tastes like a pizza pie, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Bet that would work.
I bet that would work.
Uh,
I'm going down
what else would you-
lamb route. I'm thinking lamb because lamb and anchovy
Yeah,
is
yeah,
very
yeah.
good. What
I wonder if it'd work on a kebab. You got, I tell you what I've really wanted to try is in now.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
I'll
sit there and you listen.
do the politician one. I'll do it with my thumb instead. In like Asda in the freezer section, Snacksters do and it just looks so appalling. They do well, it's basically a microwave doner kebab, and you get the sauce, it's all frozen,
Yeah.
frozen pitta, frozen sauce, and frozen kebab
Ketchup.
meat, and you microwave it all, and then you put a bit of lettuce in as well, or whatever, or cabbage, and then you've got I think it's got onion in there as well. It's all microwaved. It looks absolutely gross.
Have you had it?
But no, I haven't. I've
should
had the
have.
other snacks, the ones, but I bet you if you put I bet you now just you listen to me. I bet you if you put some some tinned anchovy in there with that to give it an extra kind of oof.
Yeah,
That would work, wouldn't it?
I reckon anchovies in that. Well, my brain's going Caesar, but we already spoke about Caesar dressing. Hacks. Tricky. We should have gathered these questions.
Do you know? I bet you actually, if you got like a McDonald's chicken sandwich with loads of mayo and because it's often a bit lacking, put some anchovies in that. I bet you that would just give it a real lift.
Or
That'd be
Big
slightly
Mac.
chicken Caesar.
Do the Big Mac
I
Mac.
bet you that,
Big Mac Mac with the Mac instead of the fish roe. Put the
or even
anchovy
just
through
an
it.
actual Big Mac and put anchovy. I bet you if you put anchovies
Yeah.
in a Big Mac, that'd be nice.
Anchovies in anything.
It does just feel like anything that wants a kind of salty hit. What's the next one? Carl says, do you have a hack for leftover pizza crusts? I always get too full and I hate to throw them away.
Give them to the birds.
Well, that's
Cut them up into croutons.
a good idea. What, bake them and then put them in your Caesar?
Yeah, put them in your Caesar. the circular Caesar that we put everything in.
I tell you what,
or you could like cut them thin. Like if you had the crust, if you cut them into thin sort of strips and then dried them out and baked them, there'll be like a good scooper.
like a
Put
sort
a
of
bit of
pita
your
chips
every
kind of
single
thing.
bagel season.
Every single
every
bagel.
single bagel season.
Every single bagel in the world seasoning.
Yeah.
I tell you what I would say with pizza crusts is, I think I might have mentioned this on the pod before, but so some listeners might go, we've talked about this before, but others might go,
same thing.
He's such a one-trick pony. All he does is talks about the dips you put the crusts in. But I went to a restaurant in Glasgow many years ago, and they had part of the deal. You got your pizzas, and it was lovely big. What's the type? Like the most common type? What are they called?
Pizza. Circle.
No, the ones, the kind of puffy ones. What are they?
Neapolitan. Deep pan.
Neapolitan, is it?
Artisan.
Anyway, with the
pizza.
big puffy crusts,
Yeah.
and then people eat the middle and leave the crust. And what they do is they put on the table like a bowl of ricotta with loads of oil and herbs and blah blah blah, and a bowl of salsa verde. And basically, no one leaves their crusts because they eat the pizza and then they rip the crusts, and they basically use the crusts as dips for all the other bits.
Sounds
So I think have something to dip the
Dippable.
crusts in, and then you're not going to leave them.
Stick some anchovies on there. Some anchovy oil.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jeffrey.
I wonder what you get a cheese stuffed crust pizza. I wonder if you stuffed it with, if you did a whole
Anchovy
perimeter
ring.
of anchovies and then wrapped it over
With
so you
Baby
basically-
Bell. Cheese string.
Do you know what? Cheese string or Baby Bell with anchovies would be heavenly,
Let's do it.
because you want that super mild with the salt.
You have to come into the studio. I'm going to do it now so everyone can hear. You have to come into the studio and cook with me.
I will.
You
I've
just-
just been. You know what it's like with something like this.
Well, the book's
coming
out
up,
now,
it's
so...
well,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah. Right, should we move on to the wines? What have we done with the wine?
Fresh wines. I have
Wine.
Martin. I have some fresh wines for you. Would you like
No.
to try one?
Oh,
I'll give you the
my
first
back
one.
out yesterday dancing.
I hurt my back yesterday, and I don't know what I was doing. Probably carrying around that imagined, like pregnant women that get bad backs, don't they?
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
look, we should tell people, because we might have some new people who are listening to the show. The wines are where you can write in and tell us if something has wound you up, as in a wine. One of the top ones is waiters coming down to sit with you at the table while taking your order.
Just being too familiar
Yeah, piss off,
and
mate.
topping up. It's for me. It's the topping up the wine when you haven't asked to have your wine topped up. It's like,
I've done that all day for you.
what? Yeah, but you're not a waiter. You're my friend. It's different, and I haven't paid for it as well.
Well,
It's when you've paid for it, and then they're filling up, like, the other diners got. It's like, he's drinking faster than me. You keep topping his up. That's not fair.
Split
Anyway.
the bill, 70-70.
Polly
Polly says,
shall I read it?
or said,
Not sure if this one's been said. Well, it might have been. Let's find out. But my wine is online recipes.
get on there.
God, yes.
I'm writing it on there already.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't even need to finish it, but I'll finish it anyway. You have to scroll past so many photos and pop-up ads before you can find the recipe, and then scroll past a load more just to find an ingredients list. Yes, and also, I bet you 95% of those recipes are AI written, untested, and just a load of absolute pods.
There was a comedian that did a hilarious thing where he was like, where they play two characters. And he was like, oh, hi, yeah, I just want the recipe. Let me tell you a bit about my family history first. And then he's just like, oh, no, I would just like to see the recipe. My first trip to like Africa was so amazing.
It's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely, and I don't think it's even been written by a
No
human.
one cares.
No, it's awful. And I'll tell you what the answer is to that, Polly.
Ad space, isn't it?
No, but the answer to solve it,
Buy a cookbook.
get cookbooks.
And then
exactly.
you can skip the intro where George bangs on about his life, and then
Yeah.
you can just get straight to the recipes. But there is a button now that says skip to recipe that you can press on most websites.
Oh, what, like skip ads
Yeah.
or skip intro on
But if
TV programs?
the thing that I struggle with, which I love about this, is sometimes when you go and you're like for example, that orange dish I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm going to Google it afterwards. I wanted to go in there like not Googling anything. Then I Googled it and I put traditional blah, 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 name of the dish. And the first things that popped up were like blogs, and you click them and it's just like the same picture of the same, like of a person standing there in their kitchen smiling. And it normally looks like some kind of housewife from America. And you're like, is she going to know the origins of this dish, or is she like AI Googled it and then just doesn't know?
Liquid
And then you
like
have to go
in
to a
Jurassic
weird
Park.
website that was all in like Brazilian, and you try and decipher through Google Translate. But yeah,
I tell you what I would say as well is, occasionally you will find a recipe online that you go, oh, that work. There's a couple that I have stumbled across and gone, that works really well, and I've gone back to it, and then I've been trying to search for it. What I would say to everyone is, go out, buy just a cheap little like hardback book and a pen, and when you find one, write it down, because also that's an archive that you'll come back to, or that your kids will come back to, or whatever.
yeah.
Because all this stuff online, when you're old and dying and your kids go, oh, I want the recipes that dad used to make or granddad used to make or whatever, you've got something physical there.
Ask the robot au pair to go and find it
like
for
that.
you. I want to
And
find
then
the
like
recipe.
the guns.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kill him.
God.
No, I didn't mean kill him. I want to get the recipe. So, Manny says here, the holes on herb and spice dispensers are too small. If I'm in a rush and don't have time to gently pour some onto a spoon, I either end up with not enough or too many herbs or spices in my dish.
What does he mean?
I just think he's just been an idiot. Just
Do you think
unscrew
he's
the whole thing.
buying
The
silly
little
ones with the
Schweppes
little
ones.
yeah? I tell you what I'd say. I would say, well, first of all, it's way cheaper to buy the 100-gram bags of whatever spices from your kind of international shop.
Yeah.
And just every time you're about to put a pesto jar or whatever else into the recycling, think, oh, actually, I'll clean it out, let it dry, put them in that, and then it's much better, much easier to access, and you can just pinch in and
And you've got your hack, which you always forget.
oh, what the little?
Have you remembered?
Well, it depends. Which one is it?
The one where you cut the name out and then it slots perfectly over the jar.
I had forgotten. That's not
See,
in
Andy,
here.
you always forget
That's not in here.
that.
No, but I tell you why, because I always get distracted by that one, which is my my spice pots that I keep in the van.
Yeah.
That are all little 35mm film canisters, and then it's like nice little tiny quantity portable.
I can just
spices.
imagine everyone now trying to like put their herbs and spices into SD card holders because no one knows what
Yeah,
film
yeah,
is.
yeah, a little flat
Oh.
like that, just potting it out. Actually, that would work for a small amount, though, wouldn't it?
It would be very stupid though.
It would be stupid.
Manny,
Stupid
I
is
think
good.
just go buy different herbs.
Yeah, just buy bigger pots. I tell you what, I've got a few of the kind of supermarket or the Schwartz ones or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all too narrow for a spoon.
Yeah.
And I've got like one spoon that's silly little like long slender spoon that fits in, but all the others, it just goes.
I can just imagine you go, where's my spoon?
Where's my Schwartz pot spoon?
Nicky.
Right.
Right, we're going to move on to the answers of the question of the week. Now, we must all know this. If you've got any knowledge of the south of England, then you will know the answer. So the question was, in which county would you both find the towns of Ham and Sandwich?
And deal.
Deal.
It's Kent.
Oh, is it Kent?
Yeah.
No, that's joking. But I think the funny thing with this one is it says, you'll both find the towns Ham and Sandwich. The funny thing is they're right next to each other.
Yeah, they literally, it's ham. I mean, the sign says ham sandwich,
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. Yeah. Like 1 mile, 1 point.
Yeah.
1.25
It's not
miles.
like you're in Essex and you're like going, oh, Canby
Yeah.
Island and
Yeah.
even Harlow. This is like next door to each other. Yeah, Ham and Sandwich. It says Ham is a village in the Dover district in the county of Kent, England. It is near the town of Sandwich. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, right.
Those are so much nearby, which points to both ham and sandwich, thus being ham sandwich.
Oh,
Anyway,
there we go.
just told you that.
Yeah.
We knew that.
We knew that.
Anyway, what other food towns are there?
Oh,
Right, quick.
quick,
See if you think of another food town.
Bacon.
No, you can't just say foods. Cheddar.
Bread. Ham.
Cheddar's a
Cheddar
place.
Gorge. Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. Kendal.
Of course.
Kendal mint cake.
The mint cake. Oh, it's very sweet.
Oh, it's
But it's
minty.
full of energy.
Yeah, because you get you up those hills, doesn't it? Sounded weird.
Dundee cake.
Yeah.
Bakewell.
Bakewell.
Did you know that Bakewell is, because I always assumed that Bakewell was so cool because it's like, oh, it's a well baked, but Bakewell is a town.
Yeah.
That's the name of the town.
Buxton?
And it's nothing to do with baking or baking things well. Buxton spring water.
Malton Mulberry.
Malvern. Oh,
Pork pies.
Malden.
Pork
Oh,
pies.
Melton Mowbray.
Melton Mowbray.
Malden and sea salt. Cornwall, Cornish sea salt, etc.
Cornish
Send
pasty.
us free stuff.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, anyway, should we wrap this up? This has been
I think we have.
Are we
What a
drunk? I
fun-
don't know. Not yet.
I mean, it's early, so it's definitely had more of an effect than.
Cheers, darling.
I expected.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, that wraps up another episode of Stuff. We hope you kept you entertained. I'll leave it to George to do a succinct go buy my book outro.
We hope we kept you entertained, and we hope you're going to try new things, and we hope that you're going to try new things from The Snack Hacker, rule-breaking recipes for cooks and non-cooks by George Egg, illustrated by Jem Ward, photographed by Matt Lincoln, available now. See you next
Go
time.
buy. Can we go get Rudy to do the James Acaster quote? Come on, Rudy.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
So, folks,
Come on.
James Acaster very kindly gave me a quote for the cover, and Rudy can do, we think, a very good James Acaster impression.
Rudy.
So,
No,
well,
man, on
to
camera.
go-
You have to come
go-
and sit
you have
down.
to
We're
do
going to leave.
into the mic.
You're going to just do the
So-
outro.
Here we go. So we'll just hand over to our faux. We're going to hand over to our faux James Acaster to end the episode with a quote.
Hello, everyone. Now, this is the cookbook I've been waiting for my entire life. The Snack Hacker.
Well done, Rudy. Well, there we go. See you all next week.
See you. Bye. That was so good.
Oh,
That's
well
so
done,
funny.
Rudy.
Nice one. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dol.
Oh, I need the toilet so bad.